Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Tuesday, the 4th day of February, 2025, Tuesday of the 4th week of the year, the 4th week in Ordinary Time. So the 4th of February, the 4th week of the year, the 4th week in Ordinary Time. Our readings for today, it's a nice day here in North Carolina. It's going to be warm, very warm again today, but hopefully we'll get, it's supposed to get cooler tomorrow. So ups and downs of these last of the, well, I guess we are in midwinter, one might say. It's important. It's hard to believe that sometimes when you live in Carolina, but we are in midwinter. So hopefully your day is going well. The readings for today. We continue with the letter to the Hebrews, again, all this week, even though the author says yesterday, what more can I say? Again, like I said, he can say a whole lot more, and he does. So, the focus today is, again, the cloud of witnesses that this letter that the author speaks about. Again, those who have gone before us in faith. Again, that these people who understood something about God, again, give us a way now of understanding God in our own lives and of moving forward because we have their backing, basically, because we have their support. And again, the sense in which because of the resurrection, at least the author to the Hebrews is beginning to move into that idea that life just doesn't end, or it doesn't end in some kind of suspended animation. Again, remember, in Judaism, there was no life after death. You basically moved into an abode of the dead, and it was very unclear exactly what happened there. And so, but now with Jesus' resurrection and understanding the power of that, there is this sense of now we are connected to the people who've gone before us. They don't basically just disappear. They don't go into an abode of the dead where they're powerless in some ways. Because of their witness, we continue, to move forward towards Christ, towards God, because they led us to this point. And so why not go further into the embrace of Christ? And now it goes into this whole praise of Christ, who basically just did not disdain suffering, but again suffers. And because of that, he sits at the right hand of God. There's still no equating yet of Jesus with God directly. Jesus is different because of his resurrection than humanity. But again, we're not focusing upon Jesus' sinlessness as being a dividing line between us and him, but the sense in which, because of what Christ has done in not allowing anything to get in the way, including suffering, of what it was he was supposed to accomplish and witness to in his own life to us of the power and the wonder and the beauty and the love of God, so too we are supposed to do the same. Not let anything ever get in the way of our ability to be able to witness to God and to the truth and wonder and beauty of God in this world and in our lives. In Mark's gospel, it's a very long gospel today, and because it contains two different miracle stories, and it's not complex, but it can be distracting. So again, who is the person who goes to Jesus and says, somebody is in my house sick or suffering, and I need you to come and do something about it? In Matthew and in Luke, it's generally, it's kind of different. In Luke's gospel, it's a centurion, so a Roman soldier. In Matthew's gospel, I believe it is a synagogue official, or some kind of landowner. And then in Mark's gospel, it is a synagogue official, Jairus. The person is only named in Mark's gospel, but it's an unknown person in Matthew and in Luke, but he is a person of standing or whatever it is. It's a daughter in Mark. It is a servant in Matthew and in Luke. Again, the confluence of this kind of story that was told in different ways. There must be a truth about it because it continues to be reported, but the details keep switching back and forth. In Mark's gospel, it is a daughter of this man named Jairus, and she is sick with fever and dying, and he wants Jesus to come and lay his hand on her. There is no sense of, I'm not worthy, don't come to my house. That's the centurion in Luke, and that's where we get the Lord, I am not worthy business before we receive communion, which is always misunderstood for what it means and for what it's about. We'll look at that later on. But Jesus goes and help the synagogue official. On the way, though, there is a woman with a hemorrhage, who needs to be cured. And she reaches out, touches Jesus' cloak, and she is cured of her hemorrhage. Jesus is like, who touched me? And everyone's like, well, there are thousands of people around you. What do you mean, who touched you? And he finds the woman cowering, and says that I needed to do this because I've been sick. And again, Jesus says, your faith saved you. Again, it's like, that's what cured you, not necessarily power that came out of me. You knew that I could do it, and it was done. In the same way, then he continues on to the house of Jairus, the girl has died, and Jesus basically, is like, well, she's not dead, she's asleep. And everyone ridicules him, for his insensitivity. But, he says to her, Talitha koum, which means, little girl, get up. And she does. And he does something remarkable. He says, give her something to eat. And that's about it. Again, there's nothing else that's done about praising God or some kind of magical whatever it is. Jesus says basically, okay, she's up now, she's walking, she needs something to eat. Again, the rush within which this happens, the request to heal the girl, the woman with the hemorrhage who gets healed, all of this, is whole sense again of Jesus who is basically just naturally walking through life, again, helping where he can and helping where the need is present to him, and even helping when he's not aware of it, with this woman who touches him without even asking if she can, and is healed of her hemorrhage or whatever it is that she had. Again, just this God who goes to these lengths and does not make anything about it. It's not to basically make him stand out and say, look at me, I am this great healer. Nothing like that. It is, again, this God present in Christ who wants us to live, who wants us to have a life that is worth living, and will go to great lengths to let that happen, and will not let anything stand in the way of that happening to us. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.